Good day and welcome back to Elementary 72 Gaming. Before I get into this video, I'd like to ask you all to please leave a like or comment on my video and consider subscribing to my channel. Now, one of the biggest things that have currently hit the game is the current patch for sovereignty. And there's a lot of things that came with this patch that aren't really the best. Now, it's all to do with the degradation of the quality of life within the game. And the game has had a massive degradation when it comes to quality of life. First of all, there was the whole thing about safety in travel. When they removed it, they removed quality of life from the game. And normally, when games lose quality of life, they also lose players. So, there is something that happened in Eve Echoes. And then, moving on from losing players, there was another quality of life downgrade. They reduced the efficiency of the main class of weapon, the majority played weapon, which is another degradation of the quality of life. You may not see it as a degradation of the quality of life, but that is what it played as overall. Now, I'm currently in the middle of a blackout, so what is being recorded is me recording it directly on my device, and then it's going to be uploaded later. So, moving on from this point, that was one of the things that made a major degradation in the quality of life. It affected the majority gameplay, most of the players. Quality of life generally affects majority of players. It makes the gameplay easier. It makes the gameplay more effective. Now they then improved the AI of the game and they improved it bit by bit, making it more and more difficult to play. Right, that was understandable to an extent, but it also was a negative upgrade to quality of life. And as I was saying, that's something that you don't want to do to your game, because if your quality of life keeps degrading, you don't have that much in your game to lock players in. And when players don't want to take part in your game, that's when you have the most problems for your overall franchise. Your franchise generally tends to die, you tend to have a lot of people dropping off the game. That is how things go. So, Eve had a lot of, as I said, negative quality of life impacts, and it affected the game and it caused a lot of problems. So, where did that lead us to in the grand scheme of things? Well, it led us to a lot of problems, a lot of conflict, a lot of unknown variables happening within the game. And they kept improving the difficulty of their game while not deproving, degrading the quality of life. Now, when the quality of life in a game degrades, it generally means that the game loses audience. Now, this was established a long time ago with a lot of other franchises. A lot of games became more difficult, and when they became progressively more difficult, players started to leave the franchise, and a lot of the companies learned their lesson that you don't interfere with your overall recipe for success. So this doesn't just apply to Eve, in case you think that this is just a Eve thing. It applies to wider variety games. It applies to massive gaming companies. It applies to things like Need for Speed. All of those games became more ease of access, better life. Those things were done for them. They made them easier for you to play overall, so that you could keep playing the game while feeling happy. And that's the thing, a game is supposed to give you this feeling of euphoria. Now, it does come with the whole idea of rage quit, depression, all these things. And there are some games made to do that. But generally, they aim not to do it, especially when the game company is looking to make a profit. And I guarantee you, NetEase is undoubtedly looking to make a profit of this game. So they have made some profit worthy mistakes. They've improved the quality of the game in terms of difficulty. They've reduced the quality in a lot of places. Now, some people have mentioned this, but every time they release an update, they tad bit their update. They pinch on one area and leave a ton out of it. So there's a whole lot of quality in it, but it doesn't have its complete quality. It's incomplete quality. It's not balanced. It's not a complete system. They give us incomplete things that you're going to get used to, and they don't fix it up fast enough for us to actually compliment them or say that we understand what's going on. So they improve the AI of the bots, right? That's in your anomalies, your missions. Then they improve their weapon systems. Okay, fine. Weapon systems plus anomalies, bravo. Then they improve their durability. Then they reduce your durability. All of those are meant for you to play longer at the game, for you to play safer. It's meant to introduce the idea of fatigue, and there's just too many things they try to introduce way too quickly to this large franchise. So that is where Eve went down the tube. That is where everything started to drain out from this game. It became a soaking wet cloth, basically a cloth dunked in water. You take it and you leave it to dry. That's what they did. They took the soaking wet cloth with so much of potential, they left it on the line and they started to dry it. But it's not just any cloth, it's a chamois cloth, those ones which you dunk in water and they go from being hard to becoming soft and pliable and they feel nice. But when they're hard, they don't feel nice, they feel like a rock. And that's what they did. They took this beautiful sponge, this beautiful cloth, they let it get wet, and then they took it out and they started to dry it. And now, as it's drying, it's becoming crinkly and hard and it's cracking. And as it's cracking, it's falling apart. And all you had to do was fold it over a little bit and give it a little bit more lining. Let the moisture soak in a little bit more before you try and do anything extreme. But what they kept doing is they kept stretching it out further and pegging it to make the area wider. They dried out more and more of the content. They've dried out the ability for you to do PvE properly, right? So the high end PvE content is super rare at the moment. Very bad decision on their part. Then they gave you the exact same options with something that's coming out in the future. They didn't plan their updates well enough. Their updates are too far apart. They degraded your quality of life and then they intend to give it back to you months later. They're not thinking about the player base. They're just thinking about now. It, it's not the way to go. It's not going to help you in the long run. You're just infuriating a large player base over a prolonged period of time, and it doesn't help anyone. Now, I know that I'm going on about the same topic in multiple different formats, which is what it would seem like, but this isn't something small. This is something major. This is going out to everybody who plays the game, because this game, as I said, can cause a massive amount of problems. It can cause mental health issues. It can cause physical health issues if you aren't maintaining the game and lifestyles correctly. So let's say, for example, you someone who plays this game on a regular basis, you dedicate 6 to 12 hours to this game. Yeah, there's a possibility that it hasn't degraded for you. You're still making $1 billion a day, but you haven't noticed those small little ticks that normally pitch up. Like when you put something on the market, within an hour or 2 hours, the easy lines normally are sold out. Now the same easy lines will linger on the market for a day, 2 days, 3 days, and it doesn't make enough sense to you. Now there is a reason why they were so efficient, why they were working out so well for everybody, and that was because, sorry, I'm just trying to get this here out properly. That was because we had such large numbers. Now there are 2,500 sectors in the game, and there was approximately 1 million players on this game. 2,500 by 1 million, right? So you want to divide 1 million by 2,500. Let's see what the math is. Give me a second. Let me get a calculator out. So 1 million divided by 2,500. Now there's slightly more than 2,500. That makes 400. If you have 400 people in every single sector, it's when the game is saturated, right? So that is where the game could have been. 400 people in every sector throughout the game. Obviously, we know that's impossible. Some sectors will fill up to maximum, some sectors will have very low populations, but you're always going to have this congestion on the game. And obviously, if you had these types of figures, they would have been forced to take in a lot of money. They would have been getting this massive income on a daily basis, because regardless of how it goes, someone loses a ship today. So you go, you replace the ship, you replace these items, you replace so many things. There's so much going on in your game. There's a flow. People are spending money. They're buying in. They're buying out. Everything is going in and out of the game on a constant basis. But it just needs that little bit of ease of access, the easy life. Uh, what did I just say that it was called? Um, I'm forgetting the name of this type of ease of play, quality of life updates. That's all that this game was missing. A few quality of life updates, and this game would have been taking off. To be honest, an insurance certificate. And how do you purchase it? You purchase it through real life money. Fine, no problem. It's something they could do. They could make some money. High end shops, you invest real life money to protect it in the game. It's a 6 billion is investment. If you're gonna play the game for that long, you're most definitely gonna want to protect it. There you go. Can you only purchase it through that method? No, you can sell it on the market. So you someone who buys a 6 month plan, you buy six of these for your ship, and you intend to buy it once every 6 months. So you go through your first month, you don't lose your ship. Bravo, you have one extra certificate. So what you do with that extra certificate, you throw it on the market, you sell it. You go through the second month, nothing happens. Bravo, once again, go for it. If you're somebody who's more extreme, you're gonna buy like six for a month because you intend to lose a ship every 5 days. Well, there you go, you buy for those periods. And everybody in the game is going to be cluttering around it. They're going to be spending ISK on it. They're going to be moving around. These small systems give you quality of life. And it isn't even a massive thing. It means that they can keep their ridiculous systems going around, where ISK becomes tighter and tighter and tougher on players. But if you're going to make it so tough, you're still going to lose players at the end of the day. You need to make sure that the ISK flow is quite fair. The ISK flow must be within the reason that a player can earn this in a day. Whatever a person can purchase, wherever a person earns or spends $100 must be a 24-hour earn at the simplest levels, to be honest. Right? $100 a day. That's what you need to make in the game. If you can't make $100 a day, the game isn't serving its purpose. The game is subpar, it's underhanded, it's below its standard. And that is where the game is right now. Now, I know that I have spoken quite a bit on this here, but that is where EVE is. And in no way does it mean that the game is totally unplayable, but it means that the game isn't comfy. And when I say it isn't comfy, I mean you're not going to play this game unless you have a group of friends within this game. And even if you do have a group of friends in this game, you're going to try and drag them out of this game to another game that you play. Now, I play League of Legends, and I play it in a team, and there's an invite in my channel which takes you to my Discord. You'll find that it's there below. So let's compare the two games. League of Legends is monotonous. It has the same repetitive cycle all the time. Eve of Echoes is monotonous. There's similar repetitive cycles everywhere. Everything is either PvE or gank, right? War is a different mechanic on its own. War isn't something that's supposed to be so common. There's one or two corps who are forever lasting in war, but that's besides the point. So those are the things that you have in the game. So let's move on. Let's move one further. Another thing about the game, let's talk about their variation, their competitiveness, their placing, their real life standing to show merit for the amount of time that you add into the game. Well, there is merit to it. If you put in a lot of time to Wild Rift League of Legends, you can take part in a championship, an international esports championship. And that's generally how those games go. It may not come out this year, it may come out next year, but there's a possibility of it happening. And there's a league, and there's a ranking, and there's so much in that game that you can earn by playing and improving your play and getting a good group of players together. And there you go, all these mechanics, they don't have extreme lifelike mechanics to them, but they're helping you. So that's something that League has. If, well, you've got corps, that's about it. There's no show of superiority, there's no show of earning, there's no show of placement, there is no show of tactics, war, there's no ranking system within the game. Any good player versus player type game has a ranking system. It has a way that players can earn a rank, and obviously they make sure that it's a 1v1 ranking. They don't make it a team play ranking. And if they're going to make it a team play ranking, they make it a tournament or a league or something of the sort. And you rank up at the top of your league, you rank up at the top of your tournaments once a season, once a month, depending on which type of game you have. And that gives you a good show to who you are, where you are, what you are. You could have an annual league, you could have a monthly league. There's so many things you could implement into the game. But Eve doesn't have these things. And since it doesn't have a ranking system, it doesn't have a competition system to versus player, team versus team, it's not going to reach the levels where you can say, we are the best duo in this game, we are the best team in this game, we are the best frigate pilots, we are the best destroyer pilots, best cruiser pilots, best battle cruiser pilots, battleship pilots, industrial pilots. None of that has any meaning to it. I can make a claim right now that I'm the very best PvP player in this game, and nobody can deny it. And all that I need to say that makes me a good PvP player, I know how to win a war without being part of the war. I can ensure that I'm supplying the corp with money. That's how come I'm giving it so much of money. That's why the corp is winning in the war. And it's true. And it's also not true. You get it? There's no basis on anything in this game. There's no earning to what you're investing. So that is why a lot of people don't like the game. Now let's move on. Controls, glitches, errors. They're too picky on the fact about replacing ships. They want to make sure that players invest higher amounts of time, higher amounts of money into the game. They don't want to replace things for you when an error happens. They literally gave you a warning for one a month for a pre-replacement of a ship from a PvE battle, any ship. But then you have to go and recover your parts. And if a glitch occurs, they don't recover all your parts or everything that was lost. They only recover what was destroyed or what was lost to the defeat itself. And that's not fair again, because if it's a glitch, it's a glitch. A glitch is their mistake. That should have been covered in their report. It should be glitch resolve, and a whole statement on how the glitch is resolved. But no, they don't have that written out. If it is said that there is an error that happened in the game, they should replace everything all at once, not just a small amount of it. Now, moving on from these little aspects, there's so much more to this game, and I hope that it does come out in the future, that they do improve it. But on my channel, the content will be dying out a little bit. I might give you 10-minute videos at maximum. I hope that you all do enjoy, and thank you all for watching.